I was having your boy Rico from StreetScores, and today I'm hitting y'all with the first look at Marshon Lattimore finally practicing for the Washington Commanders since we traded for him before the Pittsburgh Steelers game. I have several clips of him doing different drills, all kinds of things. We're going to take a look at that and break that down. Also, Bobby Wagner sent a big message to the team yesterday, as in Wednesday, November 27th. We're going to talk about that and how some of the players felt about it and how we're going to move forward with that. Also, we're going to take a look at Brian Robinson's movement because it doesn't look particularly too good right now. We're going to dive into all of that and more, but before we do, make sure you stiff arm that like button, stiff arm the subscription button, and stiff arm the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this. So make sure you stay tuned to all of the content. Of course, I will keep y'all updated on everything. Now, granted, I'm probably going to be very busy later on today. That's why I wanted to make sure I recorded this late Wednesday night / early Thursday morning so that I can at least have something out there for Thanksgiving. I'm gonna try to do something maybe Thanksgiving night when I finally get back home. We'll see, but I definitely wanted to make sure I gave y'all at least this injury update and injury report before then. So make sure you stay tuned. I will be live streaming the upcoming Titans game on Sunday. My birthday's on Saturday. I'm super excited. I'm gonna edit the layout a little bit for the live stream just because it's my birthday as well. So make sure you pull up for that. And without further ado, let's go and dive into this video, man. Let's get it. Adam. All right, so Commanders cornerback Marshon Lattimore and running back Brian Robinson Jr. were listed as limited in practice yesterday, as in Wednesday, November 27th. I already gave y'all like a big time injury update before the practice actually happened. Now I'm hitting y'all with what happened in the practice, and I have clips to show you as well. And for those two specifically, limited is great news. Like, usually limited is something trending like the wrong way for somebody. Usually when somebody pops up as limited on the injury report, we're like, oh man, does this mean they will not play? What's wrong with them? All kinds of things. But for those two, with both of their very different situations, limited has me excited, man. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, take a look at this injury report right here. Now, of course, Austin Ekeler did not participate along with Andrew Wiley, both dealing with concussions right now, especially like Austin Ekeler, this being his second concussion of the season. I'm definitely worried about that. And then Clelin Ferrell and Zach Ertz, your typical rest. Like Dan Quinn said before practice started, and he stuck with his word. He meant the fact that the only people not practicing out of the entire team right now, excluding anybody on IR like Jonathan Allen, but anybody that's not on IR, the only person not practicing, the only two people were Austin Ekeler and Andrew Wiley, who both suffered concussions against the Cowboys in that loss. Everybody else practiced except for technically Clelin Ferrell and Zach Ertz due to rest, but not like an injury situation. Then Marshon Lattimore and Brian Robinson were limited, and then Nick Allegretti, Dante Fowler, Noah Benogany, and Jordan McGee all participated in practice fully good to go. Expect them to play against the Tennessee Titans. Now, when you're looking at the Tennessee Titans side, it's looking ugly for those boys, man. We have no room to complain. Now, two important defensive linemen for them, Jeffrey Simmons, arguably the best player on the entire team, and then Harold Landry, and a very underrated edge rusher for them. The only reason they didn't participate in Wednesday's practice was due to rest. That's it. But you have Luke Gifford and Arden Key, who I wanted us to trade for, cornerback Roger McCreary, and you have wide receiver Calvin Ridley, the best receiver they have on that team. Outside of that new young kid that's taking 10-yard slants and turning them into 80-yard touchdowns and things like that. But tackle Leroy Watson, all of those guys did not participate in Wednesday's practice. That's not to say that they will not play in Sunday's game, but even if they do, they'll be banged up. And then Chidobe Awuzie is over there, limited. Jarvis Brownlee, limited. Justin Hardy, limited. Tajay Spears, the running back, dealing with a concussion, limited. And then Armani Hooker right now with an illness was a full participant, so they should be good to go there. But the injury report looks a little bit worse than ours does right now. So there are no excuses going into this game. I mean, going against the Cowboys, they were the far more hurt team. They were far more injured than we were. So there were really no excuses in that L. And there's also no more excuses for this team, this matchup against the Tennessee Titans. Now let's take a look at Marshon Lattimore. Again, I don't like to try to clickbait y'all, but I just wanted to make sure we got that out of the way. I wanted to make sure y'all saw all of the injuries. Now let's get to Marshon Lattimore. I'm gonna show you exact clips of him at practice right now. Let's get it. And as you're looking at these clips, I'm gonna just go ahead and keep on talking. I'm not gonna lie, man. He's moving better than I expected, especially some of the sharp cuts that you're going to see throughout these clips, his jumping ability and things like that. He looks better than I expected. John Com said last week he was 3/4, like 75%. At least like they couldn't exactly gauge how healthy he was. Like he's not saying he was 75% healthy. He said that he was moving at like 75% speed. This definitely looks more than 75% in these clips that you're looking at right now. And so to me, that looks like a guy that could play on Sunday versus the Titans if we really needed him to. Like, say if this Titans game on Sunday was the Super Bowl, Marshon Lattimore would for sure be playing in that game, and he probably would play well. But my question always is it worth it? Should we just hold him out until after the bye week, after this upcoming Titans game, so he can have an additional 2 more weeks of uninterrupted recovery time before his revenge game against his former team, the New Orleans Saints? And you know me, I'm leaning more to like the side of the air of caution, and like leaning more to sitting him out against the Titans just in case. But I'm not going to lie, we probably need him right now. Check out these stats. Shouts out to Ben Standig and Cale Clinton of The Athletic for bringing these stats up. Coming off of their third straight loss and sitting at 2.5 games behind the Philadelphia Eagles for first place in the NFC East. Still doable. We got to play them again. This is doable. Their record is tougher than ours is from here on out. But at the same time, when you lose to the Cowboys, like, you just can't afford to do that one. But either way, 2.5 games behind the Eagles for first place in the NFC East division. The Commanders have struggled to defend the pass this season. Through 12 weeks, Washington ranks 22nd in EPA per dropback and 25th in defensive passing DVOA. So every advanced efficiency metric that you can look at best, we're 22nd in NFL. That's not good at all. That's bottom 12 at best. Washington's 4 interceptions are tied for the 4th fewest in the NFL, while its 19 passing touchdowns allowed are tied for the 9th most. Unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. And then on top of that, cornerback Benjamin St-Juste's 567 passing yards allowed this season is second most by any defensive back in the entire NFL, with at least 8 games played. That is insane stuff right now. And they're already starting to phase him out. I keep comparing them to the guy from Office Space where they kept moving him in his red stapler and things like that, where he's starting to play less and less every game. We're starting to see Michael Davis back onto the field. You know how desperate you got to be to keep throwing Michael Davis back out there? Noah Monogany had 2 pass interference calls. He played all but like 2 snaps against the Cowboys. Even with those 2 pass interferences, Mike Sanford still is a rookie, playing all but I believe 1 or 2 snaps against the Cowboys as well. Benjamin St-Juste only played like 58% of snaps against the Cowboys. That's the fewest he's played since his rookie season years ago. And he's not hurt. He's not banged up at all. I mean, he was actually hurt against the Eagles and played more in that Eagles game than he just did in this Cowboys game. They are slowly phasing him out. They're slowly trying to see what this defense looks like without Benjamin St-Juste, probably short term, like immediately as soon as Marshon Lattimore is healthy. And then also, Benjamin St-Juste's contract ends after this 2024 season. As soon as this season is done, as soon as we're done in the postseason or we win a Super Bowl, whatever, I'm trying to speak it into existence, Benjamin St-Juste is no longer on this team, and they're already trying to see what this defense looks like without him. So I'm assuming that they have plans in the future to just let him walk and not bring him back. No matter what money he's willing to sign, I think they're just done with his play style, with the type of build that he has, the type of play style, his lack of agility and things like that. I think they're done with that. And the mental lapses, I mean, he literally lost us the Steelers game at the end. I tend to, especially, if you play 2K or any sports games especially, and like somebody's messing up for a full 3 quarters, and then somebody else misses the finishing shot of, I feel like that person who missed that last shot to end the game that could have possibly have won you the game has the right to be mad at the other person who was messing up the first 3 quarters that even set y'all back and put y'all in that situation. Benjamin St-Juste is a different case than that. He's the guy that's been messing up all the first 3 quarters and the guy that's giving up the game, that missed the game winning shot at the end of the game. So maybe that's not a great analogy for those of y'all who may not play 2K, but Benjamin St-Juste, man, I think it's the end of the road here, and Marshon Lattimore is hopefully here to save us sooner rather than later. Dan Quinn even spoke on Marshon Lattimore's availability earlier this week. He said, quote, "You know what's awesome? we're going to get some first shots at practice with him, and we're really following a rigorous process with him. The communication in the system, all of those are things he's already done in the walkthrough. So as far as like knowing the defense and like schematically what they want him to do, Joe Witt Jr., we want you doing this, running these coverages, these techniques and things like that. They're saying that he basically has that down. We just got the mental and the study is done. The film watching, all of that, we just got to get him physically onto the field. Continuing the quote. So it's about getting comfortable and just really the confidence in it, making sure that he's safe, and when he is ready to go, there are no limitations on that, unquote. So when they're ready to unleash him, they're going to play him full blown. There's not going to be a limited amount of snaps. He's not going to split snaps like Benjamin St-Juste. When Marshon Lattimore plays, that is when they feel like they're fully confident in him, and he'll probably play every snap in the game, the first game that he finally plays. Will it be against the Tennessee Titans? I'm not exactly sure, but hey, man, when I like to hear that when they do finally throw him out there, they're expecting him to go full go. No pitch count, no snap limitations or anything like that. He is fully sending. Also, Benjamin St-Juste spoke on Marshon Lattimore's injury after practice. This is what he had to say here.
Marshon finally had that practice helmet on, do a little bit more in practice. How nice was that to see?
It's really good, honestly. I didn't really have the timetable at first when he first got here on when he's going to come back, but to see him, making a lot of progress, and it looks like he's about to be on the field with us. That's all we need, especially right now as we get into that last stretch of the season. We need every piece, offense, defense, special team, to come together and go on a nice run. So good to have him.
And I ain't gonna lie, I agree with him. We need Marshon Lattimore bad. And I know, like, as Benjamin St-Juste, maybe that's a tough question to answer because Marshon Lattimore pretty much is your replacement. Mike Sanford still is too great over there as an outside corner on the other side. Noah Benogany, even though he had 2 pass interference calls, is actually still a pretty good slot corner. Like, technically, like, advanced metrics wise, he's like a top 8 slot corner in NFL right now. And we'll see about anybody else potentially stepping up. But yeah, Benjamin St-Juste, you're done. I mean, the fact that they're starting to play Michael Davis after benching him, I mean, he's pretty much been benched since after that week 2 game against the Giants. That was week 2, right, against the Giants, where he was getting burnt by Malik Neighbors all game. And then even if he wasn't getting burnt in coverage, he was missing a tackle as well. He was pretty much benched after that until up to like the Eagles game, I believe, because Benjamin St-Juste was getting hurt. And that was like the first time we've seen Michael Davis since that Giants game many weeks ago. And then now suddenly Michael Davis, even as bad as he was against the Cowboys, was still getting on that field because they're just slowly phasing out Benjamin St-Juste. So, hey man, Marshon Lattimore, we need you. Now, and even Benjamin St-Juste knows that. Now moving on to Brian Robinson. And as you can see on the screen right now, this is him working with, I believe that's Anthony Lynn right there. He's just getting in some work. Anthony Lynn is our run game coordinator / our running backs coach. And I'm not going to lie, it's not looking good from what I'm seeing. I mean, it looks like I put this video in slow motion for y'all to watch. He's definitely trying to prevent himself from doing too much and making his injury even worse than what it already is. Now, I'm not saying that this is the speed he moved the entire practice on Wednesday yesterday, but I know that this movement that we're looking at right now does not look like a running back that will play this Sunday against the Tennessee Titans. That just does not look good at all. Now, granted, we held running back tryouts, which James Robinson, Boston Scott already did breakdowns on those guys with a previous video. Was that yesterday or the day before yesterday? I believe it was the day before yesterday. But either way, I broke those down. But at the same time, even after those tryouts, we didn't sign anybody. And I feel like that's a mix of neither of those guys impressed the coaches enough. And then also they feel like maybe Brian Robinson is healthy enough to maybe he's taking it slow in Wednesday's practice, but he'll be a full go on Sunday. I don't know. It's still a weird situation because the injury that he suffered looked like a season-ending injury. And then he goes into the locker room under his own power, so I was already optimistic about that. Then he came back out to the sideline while we were still on our defensive possession immediately after he got hurt. And then suddenly, when we start our next offensive possession, he didn't miss a beat. He's right back out there. Not only is he back out there, he's running the ball, and he's running the ball well and picking up yards after contact. Then suddenly we go into halftime, and then he just never plays again, even though I never saw him take like any significant hit. So maybe he should have just never have gone back out there in the first place is what they're telling us. But I don't know. Either way, this injury situation with him is weird because he looked good running the ball against the Cowboys even after his injury, and then suddenly in Wednesday's practice a few days later, this guy looks like he could barely cut. So I don't know. We'll see. maybe they're just taking it slow on purpose. Maybe Thursday and Friday they'll ramp him up, and he'll be ready to go on Sunday, just based off of the fact that we tried out all of those running backs and didn't sign any of them. So now it's Brian Robinson hurt. Austin Eckler's not playing against the Titans. Again, I'm even speculating that maybe he should not even play for the rest of the season after suffering 2 concussions. I would love to have him. He's a great player on special teams, but man, that was just scary how the injury happened. Not only is it 2 concussions, but the way that second one happened, insane. But I'm just really, really hoping he's okay long term, like outside of football wise, mentally, all of that type of stuff. So we're left with Brian Robinson, who you just saw in that video does not look like he's ready to play Sunday, but who knows? I could be wrong. And then we also have Michael Wiley, Jeremy McNichols, and then we just re-signed Chris Rodriguez. So those are like your 3.5 running backs that we have in our stable right now. We'll see how this goes against the Titans. Of course, I'm going to keep y'all updated as the week goes on. And before the game even happens Sunday, I'm going to give y'all an update on what's going on with this running back situation.
It was a surprising day today, actually. I was actually able to go out and put strength on it and move around, and I felt pretty good for what I was doing today. So I'm just looking forward to just making some great progress this week, which I expect to do. And if all goes well, then yes, I will play Sunday. So I'm glad I was able to go out there today, to just move around and see where I was at. And I think I'm in a great spot.
Now, also speaking of injuries, I thought this was really interesting. If you can look on the screen right now, shouts out to Chris Russell for tweeting this. This came from the hockey game NHL on TNT. They showed this on the screen. And I mean, Lord had mercy. Broken legs for DC-based athletes all on November 18th. Joe Theismann back in 1985, Alex Smith in 2018, and then Alex Ovechkin in 2024. Watch out for November 18th, man. We got to do what we got to do to stop playing on that day, dog. I'm sorry. We deserve to play on a Wednesday if that's what it takes to avoid playing on that day at this point, man. Also, moving on, shouts out to Bobby Wagner because he spoke to the team yesterday and he hit them with a really strong message. When asked about it, he said, quote, "We got a great team. We just got to go out there and execute and prove that. We don't have to worry about what people are saying outside or what other people are thinking," unquote. And he basically said that they'll be fine if they think with that type of mentality. That's basically the gist of the speech, but I'm pretty sure it was far more passionate and deep and looking people dead in the eyes when he was saying it and things like that. I wish we could get the audio from that speech. A video would be even better. But if you wanted to hear Bobby Wagner talk about what he said himself, here's that quick clip right here. This is not the speech itself. This is him talking about the speech after he gave the speech.
Obviously, you've been through a lot of the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows of an NFL season. You've experienced winning streaks and losing streaks. What's kind of been the sense of urgency this week in the locker room?
It's just getting back out there, doing what you got to do, and doing whatever it takes to get a win. I don't think there's definitely a sense of urgency, but you don't want to get to the position where you're trying too hard. You just want to go out there and do what you need to do, and we'll be fine.
He told Scott Abraham off camera that he felt that it was important to say something, basically get their edge back. Don't worry about what is being said outside of the walls of Ashburn. We know who we are, and let's get back to doing what we do type of thing. And then on top of that, players like Dorrance Armstrong and Dante Fowler were also interviewed by the media after practice today, and they also said that the speech was really productive and really helped them put things into perspective. From a Bobby Wagner that's been there, done their Super Bowls and all of that, it's kind of like you're naturally gonna listen to a leader like that that's been there, done with everything, every level of football, everything possible. Anything that you could possibly experience, he's experienced it, especially on a winning level. And so these guys are listening. They respect what he's saying, and it sounds like all of them, at least most of them, really internalize that. Just keep that in mind. If we turn this thing around and we get back to hooping like we were hooping, remember that Bobby Wagner was probably one of the main catalysts for us turning this season around. Don't forget that he did a similar thing for the Seattle Seahawks last year when he was with them. When they started to go on a little losing streak, Bobby Wagner gave them a great speech, and then suddenly their whole season turned around. Similar to how, like, the Eagles, I don't know what they did in their bye week, but they went into that bye week 2-2, losing to teams that they had no business losing to, and since then they're undefeated. And not only just undefeated, but dominating teams at the same time. Maybe Bobby Wagner will be our cure for that. And then plus we have a bye week after this Titans game as well that could also help. And then even Zach Ertz, he also provided some great perspective today on the state of the locker room. He basically said, quote, "The season is not over because we've lost 3 in a row. We're 7-5. We got the privilege of where we're at with the whole season in front of us still, unquote. I completely agree. I appreciate that mindset. Also, moving on, Jayden Daniels was asked about the notion of a rookie wall. Here's his answer right here.
I don't know. Obviously, it's longer, so it's different. It's just stuff getting used to. Like, usually right now in college, the season's about to end. Our season has just started. So we're in like the second half of the season. So, I mean, that's different, but I don't really know the definition of a rookie wall. I just know that NFL season longer than college.
So did you do anything to adjust to that at all? Is there anything you can do to adjust to that at all?
I mean, just learn on the fly. Learn from people that been in my position before.
Now, you know that boy Jayden Daniels gonna be smiling, man. One thing about Jayden Daniels, he gonna be smiling. Also, shouts out to Jayden Daniels. Through Fanatics, he went and FaceTimed a lot of fans, and it seemed like they weren't necessarily expecting it from the videos and things like that. I don't want to steal the content, so I would love to show y'all, but YouTube does not play about copyright stuff, so I'm not sure if I can show that. I'm not even gonna take the chance. I'm scared. I do not want my channel to get taken down. I don't want a flashbang coming through the window, but make sure you go check that out. Jayden Daniels was surprising fans for Thanksgiving, and this was yesterday, as in Wednesday, November 27th, before Thanksgiving even happened. Shouts out to him for taking time out of his day to do that, man. That's love from Jayden Daniels right there. And then also, Terry McLaurin was at the Wizards-Clippers game last night, and somebody said that he almost showed off the jumper, like he pump faked, like he was about to shoot the ball or something like that. Also, shouts out to the fact that James Harden went out of his way to meet with Terry McLaurin behind the scenes in the locker room after the Wizards-Clippers game. To go out of his way to meet Terry McLaurin, I thought that was pretty cool. I knew Terry McLaurin was starting to blow up. He's starting to get more and more famous, especially now that we're winning and all eyes on us with, you know, Magic Johnson owning the team. We're winning. Jayden Daniels is the quarterback. Dan Quinn, Adam Peters. We have a lot of stars in this team. I mean, don't forget Anthony Lynn and Cliff Kingsbury. We have a lot of stars throughout this team, coaching staff, front office, roster-wise. But I love the fact that Terry McLaurin, like James Harden, went out of his way to make sure he talked to Terry McLaurin before he left that stadium. I love that. I just really love that for Terry McLaurin. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. Please get in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about everything discussed in this video. Please still follow that like button, still follow the subscription button, still follow the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. I really appreciate y'all for supporting the video. If you made it this far, you are the GOAT. You know, some of these things, like I mentioned towards the end of the video, like the last 5-8 minutes, I don't necessarily include in the title because I feel like if you make it this far in the video, you deserve that extra content that doesn't really even have much to do with what we talked about previously. I'm like, well, I don't know another situation where I would bring this up. Why not talk about it now? Especially since some of this stuff is some good feeling things, like Jayden Daniels surprising fans, James Harden going out of his way to meet with Terry McLaurin. I'm like, why not go ahead and make sure I include that in the video? So the fact that you made it this far, I really appreciate you for even making it all the way to the end of this video. Of course, let me know in the comment section how you feel about everything in this video. The whole Marshon Lattimore situation, how does he look? Brian Robinson, how does he look? They look completely different as far as trajectories go for who's going to play against the Titans, or sooner or later, we'll see. Let me know how you feel about Bobby Wagner feeling like he had to give his special speech. You know what I'm saying? Just like how Bugs Bunny in Space Jam had to give him that special water with the speech, Bobby Wagner did something similar that he did with the Seahawks last year, and it worked. Hopefully it works for us. We'll see. Let me know how you feel about everything I talked about in this video. I'm gonna try my best, even though I'm super busy, Thanksgiving, all of that. I'm gonna try my best to read and reply to as many comments as possible. Like I said, I hate the fact that I haven't been in the comments like I used to be, but I've just been putting out so much content. I've also been so busy outside of YouTube, so I'm really trying. But I really, it's to the point that if I get any downtime during Thanksgiving, I'm gonna be on my phone trying to read and reply to as many comments as I can, even going back several videos, several days, several weeks. So I'm gonna try my best. I really do apologize. I even saw some birthday wishes coming in from people in my previous video that I put out right before this one, and I really appreciate y'all. I'm gonna try to reply to those as well. Again, I've just been all over the place, so I really appreciate y'all. Make sure you do not leave this video without leaving a like. I'm gonna catch y'all later. I'm out.